Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity. And we have the I've forgotten how to say it again. I'm going to call it YIXUAN. Yeah, YIXUAN. And we're doing the stamps and the dies today. And I did say yesterday, if I put my finger there, you can see how small some of these are. Alcohol ink markers are just not going to cut it for me. So I'm going to use some pencils. Some of them are bigger than others, yeah. It depends how often you use them and sharpen them, but there you go. They're all different sizes and they are Prismacolor. And the colour that I'm using is Rose Fard, which is PC928. I'm using a lime peel. If you're somebody who buys your pens individually, cerulean blue. What's that one? That one's just orange. This one is holding it into the light because I can't really see it. Deep yellow and also rouge, processed red. So those are the pencils that I'm using. There are 6 of them in total, all different lengths, as I just said. And the stamps and the dies. Right, and also I want to create a background for my cupcakes, and I went mooching through my woodblock dies that I've put away, and I came across this one. I'm holding it this way around because it's huge. This is a very old stamp, and I don't even know if you can still get these, but I haven't used it for years. But it's a kitchen cupboard or a bookshelf, whichever way you want to do it. And I love it because I can use my punches and turn it into a page if I wanted to. But today I'm going to try and just squeeze a cupcake and a sentiment onto those shelves. Right, I can actually measure this for you. If you can still find it, it's a peddler's pack. It's 8.5 inches. That's how big that is. Did I get that right? You know what my brain's like first thing in the morning. No, it's almost 7.75 inches. There you go, you see. And I'm trying to look for what it says on here. And it says Peddler's Pack 1996. So Peddler's Pack can be found on oh, what is the name of that selling platform? Etsy. Yes, they have a store on Etsy now. So if you like Peddler's Pack stamps, and I absolutely love them, love their background stamps, and they do one of my all-time favourite Santa stamps. You may be able to find this, you may not. They may do it in clear, cling, which would make life a lot easier if you've got a large stamp platform. Right, so we're going to do that as the background, and I have already stamped out the cupcakes that I want to use. So I've used these 3 bases. I like this kind of like half point dot there. You can see they do stamp absolutely beautifully. Going to get a close up there, and we are going to colour them in with pencils. I'm going to put my finger there. See how tiny that is. So we've got that, and I've also cut a sheet of cardstock which is going to fit on there because that's how I do my large blocks. I leave them flat, I lay my cardstock on, I don't move it, and I rub it with my hand. So we're going to stamp this first. Right, I'm moving it that way so that you can see it. And my camera may be a bit wobbly today, I'm not sure. So I'm using Versafine Clair, and it is a large stamp, so you need to make sure that you're covering it, and I just go backwards and forwards. And if my camera's blurred or wobbling, I do apologise, but I promise you one of these days I'm going to get the camera up off the table surface and mount it onto the wall. Right, I think that's got a good coverage of ink, and now I need to get this on to cover it. Just put it down. I am going to fussy cut it, so I'm just gently going across the surface and feeling for where the stamp is. And I hope that it's done it correctly. There's an awful lot of humidity here today. I can actually feel it in my paper. So if I lift that up, look, there you go. We've got a perfect stamp. and hopefully a cupcake on each of those shelves and a little sentiment stamped in there. Right, so I'm going to move my block out of the way just for a minute, and I'll go off and clean it after. And I'm going to put that bit down so that you can see, because I'm trying to think that I want my sentiment right at the top. And I'm just reaching over. I'm getting my stamp block. That's an Alina Craft stamp block. And I'm looking at my sentiments for what's going to fit in there. And kind of, you know, do I want let's eat cake, or I can have happy birthday and let's eat cake. So I think I'm going to put happy birthday up at the top first. I was just checking over at the recording state of my camera then, because I thought I wasn't, you know, recording. I was sitting here stamping and talking to myself, which is okay because that's what I do most of the time. So I'm just popping that down and seeing how I feel about that. And I think, yeah, I think that's going to be okay. I'm going to take it up because I do want it to fit within my little shelf there. Yeah, I think that's all right. So I'm just going to grab that just for a minute, and obviously I'm going to look at where I'm going to put it down. And I'm using VersaFine Clair again. This is a beautiful, beautiful ink. This one is called Nocturne, and you can get it, of course, in different colours. I'm just going to stand up for a second, so if I'm yelling into the mic, I apologise. I'm going to go there. And I don't really like to squeeze too hard on a stamp because you don't want to squish any delicate lettering. So there we have happy birthday. Right. So we've got our happy birthday, and I'm looking at the size of my cakes, and I'm just sticking this back down on its doodah so I don't lose it. And I know it's back to front, but never mind. So I'm kind of like eyeballing the cake bases and thinking about. So I'm going to have 2 cakes down here. I'm going to have 1 here. I think I'm going to stamp "Let's Eat Cake" right there. So just positioning that again, kind of just about there, I think. Yeah, I think I have it there. And inking that up again. There we go. You can see how lovely and crisp these stamps are. I'm a YouTuber. If something is rubbish, if something doesn't work, I'm absolutely going to tell you about it. And I don't care what anyone has to say about it. So, you know, sellers beware. I do tell the truth about the products that I'm using. Right, I'm just going to get that back onto its mount and give it a clean later, just so I don't lose them. And the next thing, of course, I am going to cut this out. It does have a lovely straight edge, so the whole thing will be guillotined out just before, or shall I say just after, its stamp line. So it'll just be a really tiny white border around the edge of my cabinet. Now, if I wanted to, I could absolutely have gone in there and used distress ink and turned it brown or blue or whatever antique colour that you want to do it. And, you know, that is something that I would do. And normally I would use watercolour cardstock the last time that I used it. But I'm just going to leave it plain black and white. Have something a little bit simple today. Right, so what colours am I going to use? I think I'm going to do the cherry first, and I hope that you can see this. Colouring with a pencil can be as easy or as complicated as you want it to be. I always do small circular motions. You can use blending stumps, you can use Gamsol, you can use alcohol, you can use wax. You can do all kinds of things to blend them and give them a smooth sheen. Some of them come like pens, you know, the pen type blenders, so that you can get a blend of lots of different colours together. But this is just going to be a really basic and simple cupcake, and I just don't want to overcomplicate it. So I'm going to go for a pale pink frosting here, and I hope you can see what I'm doing. Just round and round in tiny little circles, and then you can go back, and if you want to add shadow or shade, you can just build up your layers. You can use darker shades if you've got a very comprehensive set where you're using colors that are kind of, you know, closer together, where you can almost get the feel of using an alcohol ink marker. I'm just going to get rid of that. And then, of course, because you've got a pencil, you can go around all your little sprinkle bits. Now, of course, somewhere like here is going to be in shade. So I will always run back and forth with the point of the pencil and do that. And the same for my cherry. It's very therapeutic. And if you're one of those children that used to sit and doodle at the school desk, but I did, I always had a special book, and I used to practice my lettering and doodle pictures of the teacher, you know, the kind of thing that would get you into trouble. That was me. Yeah. Oh, dearie me. I'm not going to discuss it. I'll get myself into trouble all over again. Right, and I'm going to go in dark just along that edge and get rid of that bit there. But you can absolutely cast your shadows by going in and just taking your time. You can have real fun when you're crafting. I can quite literally vanish into my craft room for hours and forget to eat. I'm sure there's a lot of us that are like that, actually. You just go in and you just have great fun. And I'm going to use yellow and blue on my sprinkles. Now, that one's a little bit worn down. And I always have problems, actually, with my blue pencils. They tend not to sharpen as nicely as my other ones. I mean, look at the sharp on that. My yellow one. That's awesome, that one. Ah, she says, pressing down too hard and breaking it. So I've gone in yellow and blue sprinkles on my cupcake. Right, that easy, really. You just do not want to overcomplicate things. Really, you don't. I'm going to be using the darker pink again, just to do those little hearts. And I'm watching the clock, and I'll come back when I'm halfway through. Right, so that's what I've been up to, and I've had to go and get a couple of other pencils, which are Sienna Brown and Ochre. And I'm using the Ochre because this one has actually got cake base kind of thing. So I want it to be the colour of my cake. This is kind of a chocolate one with lemon frosting. Colouring with pencils is really, really quick. And perhaps I should have sharpened these, because I can't really work out where I'm scribbling. Just getting a feel for it. Right, so those are my chocolate bits, and I want to do this one, and I'm just gently sweeping across here because I still want that piece of light that's in the stamped area there to show through. This is more in shade, so I'm just going to go around and around, larger circles, and then back down again. And you just do not have to be perfect about stuff like this at all. I mean, obviously, if you're doing a beautiful still life work of art, you're going to have all your blending stumps and everything out, and you're going to spend hours, if not days, doing it. But I'm just colouring in a stamp, and I'm quite happy to do it like this. So I'm just going to stretch that across there. Right. So that's what I've got. They're just very gently coloured in, and I've got my dies which need to be, she said, grabbing her paper. So I used a sheet of scrapbook paper as my backdrop, and I wish I could get it in a 24-inch sheet rather than a 12. That's all I'm going to say. And these need to be cut apart. Now I will use my removable tape that I've shown you before. I thought I had it on my desk. I haven't. I've probably got it out by my die cutting machine. And all you have to do is snip them apart. Now I've got my cherry top, so you know, I'll just go in and cut them apart. Now if you've got rough edges, I'm not going to do this on the camera in case it flicks the lens, but you just hold it and twist gently, then it doesn't fly off, and then you've got that little piece that you can just put over to one side so that you can pop it in the bin. Don't know whether it's going to work again, because you just never know where they're going to flick to. So I just twist slowly. It's all right, I'm twisting that one off. So you can see that's the cherry one, and that will sit on top of that to die cut that out. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to die cut them, and let's put it together. Right, so I've die cut all the pieces and kind of like deciding which bits and which bottoms are going to go where. And I think this one is going to be my birthday cake, so I'm going to give that the candles. I've got some little pinwheel lollipops there. Not quite sure, but I'm going to glue those together and put some foam pads on the back, and then I'm going to come back. And I thought this looks a little bit drab, just black and white, so I just put a little bit of pencil into the cross hatching, sort of, you know, liven it up just a little bit. But as I was saying, you can use different colour pencils to make it look like it's been painted, or you can just go in with your distress inks and you know, just distress it up, make it look like old wood. Entirely up to you. I hope that this is still available, because it is. It's a wonderful stamp. I mean, for Christmas you can have all your little Christmas toys, or Thanksgiving, you know, you can have your little pie or your turkey up there, and your little bits and bobs going on each of the little shelves. I just think it's really sweet. So I'm just going to glue that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got that done, and I basically decided where I want my pieces, and I've got double-sided foam tape on the back, and with the little pieces you need to be careful just when you're taking the backs off. Now I want this, I want to be able to see let's eat cake, so I'm going to go there with that one. And then with this one, which is, I suppose, the birthday cake, because it's got the candles in it, I'm going to pop that down onto the second shelf. You can see how this cake is being held together here with these foam pads. And I've glued the candles on top. Now, I want to get that straight. And you can see everything better than me, right? So I've got my birthday cake, I've got that cake, and then my cherry one I'm hoping is going to fit on the bottom one without covering that up, because this one is quite a tall cake. So I'm going to come in just a little bit and pop it down there. Right, so that's my little cakes on a kitchen shelf cake. And as I keep saying, I do need a new camera. And you know, it's having the confidence to have something that sort of like zooms in and zooms out, because I'm not, very technologically capable when it comes to cameras. I must admit, and this is one of those plug and play ones that I got. But I do think it does really good close ups. But that's just to show you how to colour in really small stamps and to be able to stay within the lines, so to speak. So using your colour pencils rather than your alcoholic markers. But I'm going to put that sideways on because I think that's better. But I do think that's really cute, and I just love this background stamp, and these are really cute cupcake stamps. And I thank you so much for joining me. Right, tomorrow I am up with a design team haul from KS Craft. So there's some really gorgeous stuff in that, and I hope to see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Have an absolutely awesome day, and as usual, all links below. Bye.